Excel's got a lot of simple functions like the sum, the average, or the min. However, you'll notice over here the sum function is giving the wrong answer. It should be more like 9,000 instead of 22,000. And you'll see it's the same problem with the average function and the min function too. Here's the problem, it could be filtered data, hidden formulas, or even hidden rows. But don't worry, there is one solution called the subtotal function, which has 11 built-in functions into one to make sure you get the right answer every time. So let's see how it works and why you should use it. So here's the dataset that we're working with, and you can download this Excel file for free in the video description to follow along. So the first part would just be to take the sum and let's see what number we get here. So it's just the sum function. Suppose we're only trying to sum the revenue. So Control Shift down, close up parenthesis and hit enter. Then for the subtotal, we want to do the same thing. So it's going to be subtotal, hit the tab key there, and you'll notice we have a lot of different options, but for now, we're just going to click on number 9, which is the sum. So we can just type in 9 here, comma, and the reference is basically the range. So it's just the revenue range again. Control Shift down and close up parenthesis, hit enter. So you'll see right now we get the exact same answer. So you might wonder, why would I use the subtotal function? Well, a scenario for that is in case we're filtering this data. So let's suppose I go to sort and filter and choose a filter here. You'll notice we have these different drop downs. Let's say that I only want the north. So instead of select all, I'm just gonna tick on north. Press OK there, and you'll see the sum function is ignoring the filter entirely, but the subtotal is able to just filter for the numbers that it currently sees, which are just these ones here. This is probably the most common error I see in Excel, so it's important to prevent it. And it doesn't just apply to the sum function, we could use equals average instead and see what happens there. So it's just the average of revenue there. And for the subtotal, all we need to do is change from that number 9 to a different number. You'll see how it's got 11 different numbers built in. So we're now going to choose number 1 for the average and hit enter. It's giving us the same answer for the time being, but if we try to do any kind of filtering, let's say for the east now, it only changes for the subtotal part. If you've been paying close attention, you might have realized under the subtotal function, we have a few more than just 11 functions. If we scroll lower down, you'll see we have what seems to be repeated values from 101 all the way to 111, and we'll talk about these later on. But first, you might be wondering, why aren't we using tables? So let's see how we can do it with that. In this next tab, all I'm gonna do is press Ctrl T to convert all of this into a table, and we can see if we get the same problems. So for the count, we're just gonna switch it up to using the count function here. It's just the count of all revenue occurrences, so it's 25, and the subtotal should give us the same answer, at least for the time being. So we'll put a 2 in here, comma, and the range is just gonna be the same range as the previous. So we have 25, but again, if we try to do any kind of sorting for the north, let's see what happens here, and you'll notice we have the same problem, even though it's formatted as a table. That said, most people don't know this, but the subtotal function is actually built into Excel tables. You just need to activate it, and it's quite easy to do. Just head over to table design and click on the total row. When you do that, you'll see this new row down here on the bottom. And if we go to this last value, you'll notice up top that it's actually already using the subtotal function. Right now, it's selecting the sum, but we can easily change that to going for the count instead. And you can see it's matching the subtotal function we used earlier. That said, you might have noticed it's not using the numbers from 1 to 11 by default. If we go down over here, you'll see it's using number 103 instead of just number 3. So let's go over the differences here in this next tab side by side. So suppose we're just looking for the sum of revenue, and with one of these we'll use the 1 to 11 side, and with the other function we'll use the 101 to 111. So I'm just looking for the sum, that's number 9 for me, comma, and I'm just gonna select this whole area. Let's see what happens there. I get this figure, and then I'm gonna do the same thing with the other side. So subtotal, but this time I'm going all the way down to 109. That's the number I want, and the revenue is just gonna be this range here. Control Shift down, hit enter there to close that. You'll see right now we have the exact same values, and the key difference comes when we start to hide some rows. Let's suppose I select these rows over here and I just choose to hide them. When you do that, you'll see that this side does update, but this other one stays fixed. So if you choose the numbers from 101 onwards, they don't account for any hidden rows, while the ones before that do. One surprising feature about Subtotal hardly anyone knows is automatic grouping. Let me show you what I mean. You can see we have this table over here, and suppose we want to group all of the different regions by their sum of revenue. So we want the sum of all of the East revenues, the sum of all of the North revenues, etc. You could use a pivot table, but maybe a faster method is by heading over to data, and from here going to outline on the right hand side. We want to click further into the subtotal area. Once you do that, you'll see this pop up. So it's saying to use the region column. We're happy with that. We want the sum. Now, what do we want to sum? It's not the units for us, but rather the revenue, and press on OK. You'll notice as soon as we do that, we start to get all of the different totals for East, North, all the way to a grand total on the bottom too. Even better, on this left hand side, we have all of these groups. So I can press the number 1, that just gives me the grand total and collapses everything. If I press number 2 here, then it gives me the breakdown by region. And finally, number 3 is going to show me all of the totals. I can further customize that by pressing on these minus or plus signs here on the side. Something like this would have taken me several minutes to do manually, but with this subtotal feature, we can just do it in a few clicks. Even better, it's super easy to modify. So right now we went for the sum of revenue by region, but what if we want the average? That's quite simple. We just need to go back inside outline and choose the subtotal. Within this area, instead of going for the sum like we did earlier, we now want to go for the average. Everything else is fine as is, and press on OK. Now you can see we have the average for the East, the North, etc. Let me collapse that so we can compare them one by one. And you can see that probably the highest one is this Western average. As you've seen, if you're not using the subtotal function, errors can be common in Excel. In fact, according to a research report, almost 90% of Excel files have errors in them. Now, if you don't want to fall into that category, you can consider checking out our Excel for Business and Finance course to learn all the industry best practices. With our comprehensive curriculum, we cover everything from formatting best practices and shortcuts to building awesome visual dashboards, creating large dynamic financial models, and much more. This is basically the course I wish I had before I started working at an Excel-heavy corporate job. If all of that sounds interesting, head over to the link in the description below. And if you want more than just Excel, we also offer a range of other courses, including Power BI, finance and valuation, and much more. Alright, back to the video. Staying on the topic of grouping, you might have noticed at the very bottom it creates some kind of a grand total. Now typically you might think of just using the sum function for a total and selecting the entire revenue range. The problem is that's accounting for all of the subtotals, so it's accounting for South, the West subtotal, etc. So that's not great. But actually when you use the subtotal function, and to do the same thing, so we would just look to get the sum, which is number 9, and we want it from this entire range. We're going to select the same range as the sum function. You'll notice when we do that and I press enter, it actually ignores all of the subtotals we already have. So even if I were to delete this one, and let's say this other one, you'll see how the sum function is changing because it's not accounting for the data properly. But the subtotal function isn't changing anything as it was correct all along. Alongside the subtotal function, there's another similarly versatile function called the aggregate function. So let me show you what it does over here with an example. You can see that we have the average and the aggregate to compare. Let's suppose that we want to get the average of the revenue per unit, which is simply the revenue divided by the units. So we would select this entire area over here and hit enter. You'll notice though that we get a divided by 0 error. And if we look at the data, that's happening because we have another one here. And that makes sense because the revenue divided by 0 units is just going to give us a divided by 0 error. Now we can work around that with the aggregate function. So let me show you how it works. We're going to type aggregate in here And you'll see, just like the subtotal, we have a lot of built-in functions inside of it. It's got even more though, it's got 19 in this scenario. So suppose we're just looking for the average, that should be the very first one. We'll put a 1 in here, comma, and you'll see we have even more options in here this time. The simplest ones are down below, like ignore nothing, ignore hidden values, or ignore error values, which seems to make sense for us. So we can just put a 6 there to keep things simple. Feel free to read through these other top ones. Put a comma there, and the array is just the range, so it's the revenue per unit range for us. Close up parentheses and hit enter. When you do that, you'll see it's able to account for the average regardless of there being an error or not. That's just one simple use case of the aggregate function, but let me know down in the comments if you want an in-depth video on it too. To learn more awesome Excel functions so you can be an advanced user, watch this video over here or take our Excel course over here. Hit the like and the subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.